Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we're talking about a brand new game on the Nintendo Switch called Hokko Life, and this has been a very anticipated game because it draws comparison to Animal Crossing New Horizons, like a lot. When people talk about a lot of farming games, they're like, oh, this is just like Animal Crossing. No, this is like Animal Crossing, especially New Horizons, so we'll talk about that. But yeah, this is my review in progress, basically, because I've only played a few hours, but I feel like in a game like this, you only need a few hours to know if it's good or not. Like, if you're going to keep playing it or not. So yeah, I've been playing it for a few hours. There are some things I can't talk about in this game because I haven't experienced them yet. Like fishing, which I think is weird that I've been playing a few hours and I haven't been able to fish yet, but I know it's in the game. And farming, I've done sort of a little bit, but I can't talk about like growing crops, watering them, things like that. All right, so first of all, this game is $20, and depending on when you're watching this video, it may or may not be out right now. It comes out at the end of September, and that $20 price tag is going to be very, very enticing for a lot of people, especially since Nintendo games are like a full $60. So just keep that in mind. Starting off with the look of everything, the visuals. Everything looks good except a few things. And this is, just preference, but the world actually looks really good. I love the art style of this. I think this art style is something that will hold up, for years to come. So I really like the way that this game looks. There's, things like dynamic weather. Obviously there's seasons in this game. I'm only playing in spring right now, so I can't talk about like fall and winter and stuff, but all I've experienced so far is sunshine and rain, obviously nighttime and things like that. But the game looks good no matter what. I was actually really surprised when it started raining because all of the sounds in this game, like it looks really good. But as far as the characters go, obviously you can make your own character. There is a very basic character customization. You can do things like, pick your skin color, hair color, eye color, things like that. I think you can add like freckles and things. There's not a whole lot in terms of customization, but it's enough to get you started basically. The one thing that kind of bothers me about this game, it's not a deal breaker, but the animals in this game are a very mixed bag. They're a little creepy looking, if I'm going to be honest with you. So basically, in Animal Crossing, I feel like the villagers look like animals. Like, oh, that's a cute penguin, or that's a cute dog, or whatever. These look like people dressed as animals, if that makes sense. I don't know what you guys think, but I don't know. The villagers and stuff are very, like, low budget to me. Like, if I saw screenshots of just the villagers, I'd be like, oh, this is a cheapy mobile game or whatever. But if you can look past that, which I think you can, the visuals are great. The buildings look good. Everything in them look good. The items look good. And so that's a huge plus. I kind of touched... so the visuals are good. They're kind of a mixed bag with the characters, but I think they're good. Over to the sound department. I don't know, how important this is for you, but the music is really good, albeit repetitive. But the music is really good. And the most important part, to me anyway, the sounds of the worlds, so the bugs, the water, the tide rolling in on the beach and stuff like that. The sounds are really good. Even the sound effects when you're like chopping wood or, running on sand versus running on grass versus running on dirt, like everything sounds really good in this game. So A+ for sound, very good. Now, the first few hours that I've played, it's very tutorial heavy, which I was definitely expecting. Of course, you got to learn all the mechanics of the game. And so when you start off, you are taken in by a couple villagers and you have to sleep upstairs in like this inn or whatever. And the next morning you are actually, you have to redo a house. You have to like collect materials for a house and you have to kind of, update the house and then you can move in. So you're like a part of their town. And then they ask you if you want to start, upgrading the town and kind of reinventing the town. So obviously you agree. And that's sort of the gameplay loop. It's very New Horizons-esque where in New Horizons, you're building up your island. In this game, you're building up this town. So I really did like that. I felt sort of right at home with that. And I like the progression in this game. You're given an axe pretty early on, which of course lets you chop wood. And then they introduce you to crafting. And I got to say, if you are, and I'm going to compare these two a lot. If you are used to New Horizons, crafting is so much better in this game. You can bulk craft. It's very snappy. It doesn't take like a lot of time. And, so you're collecting materials, you're building houses. Ultimately you build bridges, which, open up more of the map. Then you build inclines, which opens even more of the map. And I gotta say, the progression is really good. You start to move in a couple villagers. Now, I don't know if each person's game is going to be different. I'm assuming it's going to be like New Horizons where everyone has different villagers. But so far I got like this rabbit guy that moved in, and actually this really cool looking pig that looks like a jock. So yeah, the villagers that moved into my town are okay. Again, little on the creepy side. But one of the things that kind of stood out to me was when a villager moves in, you can immediately move their furniture around. You can customize their house right away. And customization is something that I didn't really experience a lot yet, but I know it's a big part of this game. You can customize pretty much everything. You can rotate buildings. You can really make this your own. So, going back to the progression, you're given items and they kind of, tell you that you can place them anywhere. And then, this realtor company moves in and you can like build up houses to move in villagers and stuff like that. So I really like the systems that I'm seeing so far. There's also a store in town that changes every day. So they're going to have different wallpapers every day, different items. It really reminded me of Nook's Cranny, which is really cool. So some of the first things I was able to do, some of the things that I could talk about, because I only played a few hours, was catching bugs. Catching bugs felt really good. It's cool because like once you catch a bug, automatically your book opens up and it like stamps the bug. So you've got that. It's in your collection. The bugs are really cool. They're sort of easy to catch. And, it just feels good. The game feels good. I was so scared that this game wouldn't control well or wouldn't feel good, but it really does. The other thing I was kind of able to do, not so much farming, but I was able to plant trees. So once you hit trees, sometimes they will drop like seedlings, like saplings for it, which was cool. So then you could like, as you're chopping down a tree or chopping a tree, you can then pick up that seed and plant another one. So that's the only sort of planting and growing crops and things that I was able to experience. But again, it felt really smooth. You just dig a hole, put the seed in, and for the trees, you don't have to water them. But plants, I'm assuming you'll get like a watering can at some point. So that even felt good. A little bit later in my playthrough, I found a broken pickaxe, which I was interested in. I'm like, okay, this is going to open up mining because mining is in the game. And I was able to bring that pickaxe back to the blacksmith crafting girl, and she was able to fix it. It took like a day. And then the next day I was able to hit a bunch of rocks and open up even more areas in this map, which is really cool. I love that mining is in this game because it definitely sets itself apart from New Horizons and giving you more to do. The mining is cool. You're collecting like stone and different ores and things. There is this cool mechanic where you can't explore the entire mine because you have to build like these stand-up lanterns that you place everywhere. So once you craft those, then you can place those in the mines, which lets you see. And I thought that was a really cool mechanic. There's also rocks that you can't hit because you have to upgrade your tools. But that is, of course, later in the game. The other thing I mentioned is crafting bridges and inclines and things like that. And the cool thing about this is that it's built right away. So when you get the materials, you can craft the blueprint and then you can place the blueprint right away. There's no waiting. You still have to wait a day for villagers to move in, but that's well worth it. I think it's actually 2 days for villagers to move in, but that's well worth it. The days don't run on a real world clock. And this is super important to me because farming games for me, in some recent ones like Harvestella, the time in the day either goes way too fast or way too long. I feel like this game is more on the longer side in terms of the days, But for me, I like that. I don't like being against the clock. You know, something like Stardew for me personally is a little too fast. And then something like Harvestella is way too fast. But this game has a good sense of pacing to it. Like the days feel long. It feels like you can get a lot done in it. And that's definitely something that, like, if I was watching this video, I would definitely want to know. So what are my thoughts after my few hours of gameplay? I think this game, what it's trying to do, it does really well. All the mechanics seem natural and feel good to the player. The big things that I'm looking at is crafting, and crafting is really, really good. Although I have to go inside of a building to craft, I'm assuming that I can eventually make a crafting table. Like, that has to be a thing. The bug catching, the planting of the trees all feel very natural and good. Mining feels really good. And guys, at $20, I've already had a few hours of gameplay and I haven't even scratched the surface. Like, I've had a good few hours of gameplay. And there's going to be things that open up, like seasons, like crops, you know, customizing your town even more. You can rotate buildings and, you know, move around people, and you can customize your house. That realtor building that I said before, you can use that to move in villagers, but once a day, there's a new roof customization and a new outside exterior customization for your house. So it seems like there's going to be a big emphasis on customizing. And I'll put some footage in here of the actual trailer itself because it just shows off even more things. Like right now, there's no clothing store, but I know that there's clothing in this game. So I feel like I'm at the point now in the game where everything is opening up. Things are starting to open up big time. Mining is opening up. I found like another cool sort of fishing area that kind of looks swampy and weird. The beach is going to open up. Like, I'm so picky about these types of games. And especially if a game is going to, you know, release and basically copy what New Horizons did, I'm going to be very critical about it. And what I'm seeing right now is really good. Now, this game is going to release on the Nintendo Switch, and I do anticipate the performance of it to be a little bit worse, but I don't think it's going to be bad enough. Like, the game doesn't seem super demanding where I wouldn't buy it based on that. But what I am going to do on the channel, I am going to buy the Switch version as well, and I'm going to do a whole like first impressions of Hokko Life on the Nintendo Switch. So if you're interested in that, definitely subscribe. But yeah, overall, I'm super impressed with this game. I mean, I think one person made this, which is crazy. And what I'm playing so far is really cool. So look forward to a stream. Look forward to some more coverage on Hokko Life. And let me know if you will be getting this game or not. So I will see you later. Peace out, everyone.